The air was thick with the smell of rain on asphalt. I was sitting at a diner's window, sipping on cheap coffee, watching the late-night crowd. That's when I saw him. A man in a black hoodie, broad shoulders, walking alone down the quiet street. There was something familiar about him, something powerful. Then, trouble came. A black van rolled up, tires screeching. 4 men jumped out, their voices sharp with hate. I felt my stomach twist. This wasn't just some random fight. This was targeted. My hands gripped the coffee cup tighter as I watched it unfold. The gangsters blocked the man's path. One, tall and wiry, stepped forward. "What's a big ape like you doin' in our part of town?" he spat. The man in the hoodie didn't flinch. He just stood there, calm, his face shadowed. Another thug, bald and covered in tattoos, cracked his knuckles. "You lost or something." I could feel the tension rising. The man sighed, finally speaking. "I don't want no trouble." His voice was deep, steady. But the gangsters laughed, circling him like hyenas. One of them, a stocky guy with a switchblade, lunged forward. Fast. But faster than anyone could blink, the man in the hoodie dodged. The thug swung again, missed. Then, like a whip, the man's fist shot out. One punch. That's all it took. The thug dropped, out cold before he hit the ground. The gangsters froze. Their cocky grins vanished. The bald guy stepped back, eyes wide. "Who the hell are you?" The man pulled back his hood. The streetlight caught his face, and my breath hitched. Mike Tyson. The gangsters' faces went pale. One of them whispered, "No way. That can't be him." But it was. And they had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. A moment of silence. Then, rage. The remaining 3 rushed him, fists flying. Tyson moved like lightning. He slipped past a punch, countered with a brutal left hook. Another man collapsed, groaning, his nose shattered. The bald guy tried to grab him from behind, but Tyson spun, his elbow smashing into the man's jaw. He dropped like a sack of bricks. Only one thug was left standing. His hands shook as he pulled out a gun. My heart pounded. This was bad. A gun changes everything. The gangster aimed, finger twitching on the trigger. Stay back. Tyson didn't even blink. In a blur, he stepped in, grabbed the guy's wrist, and twisted. The gun clattered to the ground. Before the thug could react, Tyson landed an uppercut that lifted him off his feet. He crashed onto the pavement, out cold. Silence filled the street. The only sound was the distant hum of a passing car. I sat frozen, coffee cold in my hands. What had I just witnessed? Tyson stood over the unconscious gangsters, shaking his head. He sighed, pulling his hood back up. Then he turned and walked away, disappearing into the night as if nothing had happened. I exhaled, my hands trembling. Nobody would believe me. But I knew the truth. They had messed with the wrong man. The next morning, the city buzzed with whispers. People spoke in hushed tones about a gang found beaten and broken in the alley. The police had no leads, no suspects. At the diner, I overheard 2 men talking. "You hear about those guys? Took a real bad beating. Like some monster tore through 'em." Another man chuckled. "Monster? Try legend." Heard it was Mike Tyson. A chill ran down my spine. I wasn't the only one who knew. Days passed. The gang's leader, a scar-faced man named Reggie, returned. When he saw his men in the hospital, his fury burned hot. "We don't let this slide," he growled. "Nobody humiliates us." He gathered his crew, more men this time. Guns, knives, brass knuckles. They were hunting a ghost. But they didn't know that ghosts can hit back. Late at night, the gang roamed the streets, looking for Tyson. I watched from my usual spot at the diner. Then, just as before, a lone figure appeared under the flickering streetlight. Tyson. Reggie sneered. Get him. The gang surged forward, and the legend came alive again. Tyson moved like a storm. He weaved between them, fists striking like thunder. One by one, they dropped. Bones cracked, teeth flew, men groaned in agony. Reggie was the last one standing. He pulled out a knife, eyes filled with hate. Tyson shook his head. You don't learn. In one swift motion, he dodged the blade and sent Reggie sprawling with a brutal right hook. The gang leader crumpled, unconscious before he hit the ground. Tyson dusted off his hands. Stay down this time. The gang was finished. The city knew it. Nobody messed with Mike Tyson and walked away the same. I sipped my coffee, smiling to myself. I had witnessed something incredible. Something people would talk about for years. And as Tyson disappeared into the night, I knew one thing for sure. Legends never die. The news spread like wildfire. Reporters asked questions, but nobody had clear answers. The police found the gang, battered and broken, but no one could say who did it. But in the underground, in the alleys where whispers traveled fast, one name was spoken in awe. Mike Tyson.